we as conservatives, and what do you want to call yourself, you know, pro-American, pro-freedom, whatever, you know, there's this old quote that if you label me, you negate me. I'm happy to say I'm a conservative. I'll tell you why. But it's like not a woke person. I guess that's a fair categorization for most people nowadays, hopefully, is that we look at one of the mistakes we've made is that we underemphasize the power of visual and video medium. And in that one video was everything the activists needed to revolutionize society. So you had a white man and a black man, literal knee on the neck, which before that incident even happened was kind of this incantation that they would say that white America has a knee on black America's neck. And then in addition to that, you had someone that just wasn't a random white person, you had a police officer. And the police officer, which many of us know, represents the administration of the law. So many activists could say, see, that right there is what we've been talking over the last 30 and 40 years. And immediately, instead of acting patiently and prudently and slowing down and saying, hold on a second, is this an isolated incident? Is this happening on a daily basis? We then allowed, quite honestly, the most corrupt and disingenuous voices that any human being could possibly find around anything to completely and totally reorganize society. And this then, of course, happened with the entire summer of what they call the racial reckoning of last summer, you know, otherwise known as Floydapalooza, when we decided just to destroy our entire nation. And where it's as if, like, I'm so angry about systemic racism, I'm going to go burn down a Wendy's. Yeah, just like robbing Adidas sneakers from Mall of America is not going to bring George Floyd back, right? That's a very obvious thing. But if you dare say that, they call you a bad name, which, again, couldn't really care less. We're going to say things that are true. And so what ended up happening throughout June and July of last year, $2 billion in damages, by the way, after that specific incident, America's actually become a less pleasant and more dangerous place to live. Murders are up 30% since May of last year of what happened here in Minneapolis. I'm not sure really the status quo of not status quo, but like the state of affairs of what's happening in Minneapolis, but they try to defund the police, they slowed private security. What is kind of the latest there? I guess they're sort of half funding the police. It's a more dangerous place to live. All of you know that. If you're going down to Minneapolis, it's not the town it used to be. And so right on that corner of Chicago Street and 38th Street where George Floyd died, all of a sudden, we as a civilization said, you know what? Our entire history of the rule of law, of the administration of such, separation of powers, checks and balances, independent judiciary, presumption of innocence, you know, trying to put criminals off the streets. Let's throw that all out. Instead, we need to reconsider and recalibrate society as we know it. And the damage is real, is what I'm here to tell you tonight. And tonight, as we do this tour, we need to stop and realize how severe and real of a mistake we have made as a country to allow it to go as far as we have for this long. Every single metric you can imagine of violent crime is going up. Now, it's not necessarily going up in rural America. It's actually the very communities that they say they want to help and serve, black and Hispanic communities, where their communities are actually becoming more dangerous, more violent, and a less safe place to live.